This is an interview with Christopher Columbus by the first and second grade classes of St. John Lutheran School. And we are waiting for Christopher Columbus to come into our classroom this morning. This afternoon, actually. I wonder if he got here yet. Children, do you think Christopher Columbus got here yet?
No. Yes. Probably just coming in. Probably got shipwrecked.
Maybe. We'll have to see if he made it yet.
Probably parked at a Sukia Lake and got picked up by a cab.
Maybe. Christopher Columbus, are you here? Yeah. Oh, come on in. They're waiting to see you.
Hi, guys. That way.
So here's Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus, the boys and girls have lots of questions to ask you about your trip, so maybe you can answer them. We'll start right over there with Darren Wishtat, who would like to ask. Please talk loud, Darren.
How did you feel?
Well, I felt really great because I got to go and sail over. I was trying to go to Asia to get some furs and stuff. And instead of going down through Africa that way, I decided to go to the west. And many people thought that it was really dangerous because they thought the world was straight and that when you go there you'd drop. But I knew the world was round, so I went that way, and I never knew there was land there. I felt really great that there was land there. I thought I'd be real famous.
Thank you, Darren.
How did you feel when you're just going in?
When I was just going to America?
When you just hit, when you just got in the ship, how did you feel?
I was real scared because you never know what could happen. The boat could sink or something. We could get hit by some storms and stuff, so I was scared, but I knew I could get there.
Thank you, Darren.
Because the big flame ship got on and the small ship got lost in the mud.
Darren, don't take his whole story away. Elizabeth Honeman, do you have a question you'd like to ask Christopher Columbus, please? Elizabeth? Yeah, you got the question on your desk. Take it up and ask it to him. Oh, you weren't here, huh? Well, you have to listen then. Lisa Lux, could you ask your question to Christopher Columbus?
How much money?
Well, we didn't get too much money, but we got a little gold and stuff, and we traded with the Indians with some stuff, but we didn't get too much money.
Thank you, Lisa. Heather Savey.
What kind of clothes did he wear?
Well, he wore high socks like what I have on. He dressed like in the olden days, and he wore a sailor's hat, and he dressed a lot different than today.
Christopher Columbus, who's he?
Me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Heather. Jimmy, do you have a question you'd like to ask Christopher Columbus?
How long did it sail?
We sailed for 33 days. And we sailed through the Atlantic, and we went to the west, and we had a lot of troubles too.
Peter Milkey.
What year did you start sailing?
1942.
And Adam Ditbener.
What did you use the spices for?
We used the spice for the meat so that we didn't have like what you guys do today. I don't know what you call it, a refrigerator. We don't have that. We had to put spice on the meat so it wouldn't get rotten and spoil and stuff, so we couldn't eat it. We put spice on it so it tastes good too.
Sarah Trebish.
What kind of problems did you have?
I had a lot of problems. We got caught in a storm. We saw the Indians. We were real scared of them. We had people get thrown overboard. The ship got beat up. People were having to die because of diseases and stuff. We had a lot of problems.
How'd they go overboard?
Nicholas Hacker.
What colors were the flag of Spain?
Spain's flag was, the top stripe was red, the middle stripe was yellow, and the bottom stripe was red. So it went red, yellow, red.
Very interesting. We'll go over here to Mark Grant.
What did you find the gold with?
Well, we didn't find too much gold, but we did find a little. We panned for the gold. We used big picks that you put in the ground, and we used a shovel. But the ground was real hard, so we really didn't get too much, and there wasn't too much gold around.
Then we'll go over here to Ricky Honeman.
How big was the boat?
The boats were really, really big. They were about 100 to 120 tons. And they were about 80 to 85 feet long.
Ricky?
Real big.
Danielle?
Why did you trade for
Well, we needed some other things, such as furs to keep warm, and we needed some more food, and that was our money. Gold was our money. We didn't have what you guys have here, like, what do you guys have here? Yeah, we didn't have that. We had gold. So we had to trade for what we need for a living.
Bethany Winchell?
Why did you go there?
Well, we were going to go to Asia. Instead of going south of Africa, that's a long ways, and we thought that'd be shorter going, and it was a danger because people thought that it was just, the world was straight, that it dropped, but we took a chance and went west, and instead of going to Asia, I sailed in the West Indies.
Okay. Jacob Radel?
What did you sleep in?
We slept in it's like a net. It's hooked up to like a pole, 2 poles, and it's in the boat, and it's a big net. And it's so, we wouldn't, like if we had a bed, we wouldn't go all over because the ship and that way. It's called a hammock.
Christopher Halverson?
How many people are on each boat?
Where there was over 1,000 people on each boat, but the Santa Maria was a bigger boat. That's one I sailed on, and the other ones had maybe 900. And plus we had all the food. Then we had soldiers, we had farmers, we had captains on the boat. We had a lot of people.
Why didn't you come?
I'm just going to move the camera over so I can get some of these other interviewers on here. Dusty, Lent.
Was it a storm?
What was the question?
Was it a storm?
Yeah, there was a big storm. We had a real big one, and beat up our boat a little bit. And we had other small storms, but they weren't as bad. But we had a lot of storms on the way.
Okay. Brandon?
Were you scared when you saw the Indians?
Yeah, I was real scared when I saw the Indians because I'd never seen them before, and I didn't know what they would do to us, and they looked real mean. But as soon as we started talking to them, they weren't as mean as I thought they were. In fact, we took them back to Spain when we left as slaves, so they'd work for us. But the Queen of Spain, Queen Isabella, didn't want that, so we had to let them go.
Okay. Carnal?
What did you eat?
We ate a lot of dry meat, like what you guys eat. We had a lot of vegetables. We had a lot of stews with vegetables and meat. We didn't have all the stuff you guys have now.
We have over here yet Heather Havemeyer. Maybe Karen could help her out there.
How much food did they store in the ship?
We stored a lot of food in the ship, but we only stored enough for about 2 months because we figured that on our way we would stop at a port or something and reload the food. So we didn't take a lot, but we took a good majority of it.
Did everybody get to ask their one question? Were there any questions that came up while you were listening to Christopher Columbus that maybe somebody'd like to raise their hand and he can call on you?
How come when there was any boards, was any nails coming out that you had to repound in?
Yeah, we had to do that because when the storms hit, the waters were really rough and they tore some of the boat apart, so we had to fix it a little. Yeah.
How do you fix the boards?
Well, I had other people fix it for us. We had, he asked the farmers, they helped out on that too. They pounded the nails in so I wouldn't have to do it. Yeah?
Who did the boards?
What?
Who righted your other two boards?
Other people, other men, other soldiers, people like that. Yeah?
Did you have a basement on the bottom?
Well, we had a bottom part that held all the food in and stuff and all the supplies, but we didn't hardly go down there too much.
Christopher, maybe you could draw a picture of your boat on the board for them. Would that help maybe?
Sure.
Sure, if you want to just move your stool there and we'll all watch you draw what your, maybe the Santa Maria, the boat you were on, you could draw for us. You could show us where you kept everything on the boat if you remember.
Yeah, we kept a lot of, like, boxes of food and buckets of water and stuff down in the bottom compartment. And we slept right here in this level. Then up top was when we sailed. Then there's big things that the wind carried us with. And most of the food and stuff was here, but we slept here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not, see, those things on the top you said was sails.
Yeah.
Lisa?
How could you get the water and stuff?
Oh, there's ladders that you can come down, and there's little opening in the ship that you can come down with ladders. Yeah.
Why did you leave the entrance?
Well, we kept them we brought them back as slaves. We took them back there because maybe our queen wanted them, but she said we didn't have no use for them. She didn't want to keep them as slaves, so we let them go. Yeah.
Did you know
The what?
the earth?
The what?
The earth?
The earth? Yeah, I figured it was round because it didn't make much sense to me that it'd just be flat and it'd drop. And so I took a risk, but I pretty much knew that it was round.
Why do you have to throw them in overboard?
Well, in case they got really sick and they spread diseases around, so other people wouldn't get them, so we just threw them overboard.
Did you have any canyons on the ship?
Yeah, we had some canyons, but we only used them for like fighting, but we didn't use them for anything else.
How do you carry it on the two ships?
What?
How do you carry it on the two ships?
Well, they just followed around behind us. We didn't have a rope tied to each other. They just followed with us.
Did you have steering wheels or did they just have to float?
They didn't have steering wheels. They, people paddled and the wind took our ships in which direction we wanted to go. We have what you call a little rudder right here on the boat that helped us go in what direction.
Maybe you could draw what that rudder looked like there, Christopher, for them. They like pictures.
there's like a little piece of wood here that you can turn, and this thing moves this way, and it moves the ship whatever way we want it to go, along with the wind. Yeah?
Did you have anchors?
Have what?
Anchors?
Anchors?
Anchors.
Anchors. Yeah, we had some anchors, and if we wanted to stop, like, we couldn't bring the ship right up onto the land, but we did have anchors to put in the water, and then we took a little boat over to the land. Yeah?
Did you have boats on the side to the oil?
What? We have what boat?
Boats tied to the side, going to the land?
No, we just dropped them out. We just put them out, and then we got into them, and we rolled over to land. Yeah?
How did you use the stars to find your way?
Huh?
How did you use the stars to find your way?
Well, we just looked, and we know the North Star. That's what we mostly looked at to follow our way.
Where did you want that star to be, Christopher Columbus, in order to find where you were going?
To the north.
Okay. So you're traveling in the north direction then?
No, we were going to the west.
But you wanted the star in the north so you knew you were going west?
Yeah, the North Star, then we just wanted to go west.
Okay.
Did you ever take a swim?
Ever taken a swim? Well, I took a little swim after we got off the boat to the land. I took a little swim, but nothing in the big ocean.
We're going to take a little break here a minute, Christopher. Back with Christopher Columbus. Do we have a few more questions here I see out in the audience? Ricky, go ahead. Any more questions? Christopher Columbus, why don't you come to the back of the room here? We have a map on our bulletin board. And maybe you can show us on that map just exactly how it was that you went. If the children would like to stand back here nicely so they can see. We have a board just for you, Christopher. That's our Christopher Columbus board.
We settled right here in Spain, and we went all the way. We wanted to go to the Canary Islands, and we went through the Atlantic Ocean, and we found land right here in the Bahamas, what we call the Bahamas. And I set shore right on San Salvador Island.
Any questions about that, children?
Is he aware? Right.
Danielle? Yeah, that's his picture. What do you think of that, Christopher?
Well, that was when I was younger.
Looked a little better then, huh? Well, can you thank Christopher Columbus for coming for us today?
Thank you.
Maybe you'd like... Why don't you shake his hand before he leaves?
In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He had 3 ships and left from Spain. He sailed through sunshine, wind, and rain. He sailed by night, he sailed by day. He used the stars to find his way. A compass also helped him know how to find the way to go. "90 sailors were on board. Some men worked while others snored. Then the workers went to sleep, and others watched the ocean deep. Day after day, they looked for land. They dreamed of trees and rocks and sand. October 12th, their dream came true. You never saw a happier crew. Indians, Columbus cried. His heart was filled with joyful pride. But India, the land was not. It was the Bahamas, and it was hot. The Arawak natives were very nice. They gave the sailors food and spice. Columbus sailed to find some gold to bring home, as he'd been told. He made the trip again and again, trading for gold to bring to Spain. The first American, no, not quite, but Columbus was brave and he was bright. We cheer for him and say hooray, especially on Columbus Day.
Should not say him, should say me.
Thank you, Christopher Columbus. We hope you have a good Columbus Day yourself.
Thank you.
Can we say goodbye?
And bye-bye.